All right, so if you're in a video game, each level gets more and more difficult, correct? Cool. You're climbing a mountain. It gets harder the more you go to the top, correct? Cool. All right. You're in a rocket ship. You're going through the atmosphere, and you have to pierce. It takes a lot of jet fuel, correct? Cool. All right. At each one of these points, the highest level you get to, or right before the end of the game, or right before the peak of the mountain, the top of the mountain, or right before you pierce the atmospheric threshold, it's the most difficult, the most pressure, the most agonizing moment of your entire fucking journey. And let me explain why. On a mountain, the highest level of air pressure is not the peak and is not below at the bottom at the base. It's right before you get to the peak. In a video game, the hardest level is usually the last level, correct? Or at the beginning when you have nothing going on. And then in the atmosphere, when you're in a rocket ship, when you're trying to get through the atmosphere, the hardest part is to get through that threshold. They use 90% of jet fuel just to get through the atmosphere and only 10% of reserves to get back. And they literally drop the fuel tank after they get through the atmosphere. Why? Because it takes the most amount of effort at the very end, right before you're about to finish. The people who run a marathon understand what I'm talking about. I've never done a marathon, so don't say I'm speaking from experience. But I've done races. And the hardest part is at the very last lap, the very last part, the last part of your journey. The hardest part is right before the end. I'm going to say it again. The hardest part is right before the end. And your goal is to max out your stats. How do you max out your stats? And why should you max out your stats? Well, like in a video game, the more you max out your stats, the easier the game's going to be. In hiking, the more that you prepare for this, the more you prepare for this opportunity, the better you're going to have the chance of success. In a marathon, same thing. The more you prepare for this, the better the opportunity for success is. Same thing with the atmosphere. If you don't have enough jet fuel to get to the top, you're not going to pierce the atmospheric pressure thresholds. So it gets the most difficult right before the end. Your goal to make it easier is not to just go through this or follow behind someone else or take a cheat code. It's to actually maximize your stats, boost your stats up, get better. Listen, when you improve, life improves. When you get better, life gets better. When you're doing something better within yourself, things around you get better. It's very simple. Very simple. Now you're gonna ask me, what stat should I max out? Well, that depends on you. What is it you're pursuing? If you're a baker versus a chef, you're gonna pursue different culinary skills. It's not the same skills. You're both gonna be chefs or bakers. I don't know what the case may be. I don't know the terminology, but you're both gonna be in the culinary fields. And one person's gonna be great when it comes to robust flavors, savory flavors, sweet and tangy flavors, versus someone's gonna be really good at baked goods, right? Something sweet, something crunchy, something soft, something whatever the terms are in baking, right? When you do these things, you got to be the best in your field. So find out, Jim Rohn said, find out the 1 to 6 things that you need to do to be the best in that field or that arena. And when you find that, spend every single second doing it, being it, having it. It's very easy to succeed in life. Just do what you know you got to do. It's also very easy to fail in life. Just don't do what you know you got to do. I got a water bottle, right? I got 2 water bottles. This is the life I want, and this is the life I don't. And every day I have enough water to fill up 1 water bottle. I could easily go, I'm going to put half in here and half in here, and they both go in the same direction, but only one of them gets me the life I want, and the other one doesn't. So if I want to have a successful life, I got to focus on pouring more energy into the area that's going to give me that. And that is determined by the skills that you have to pursue in that arena or that realm. Excuse me. So, what stack should you max out? Very simple. Definitely discipline. Definitely consistency. Definitely thinking greater than you ever have before. Definitely believing in yourself and trusting yourself. Definitely regulating your nervous system so you can stay calm and grounded when you reach this level of success or this level of pressure, so you don't crash out and go return to the old ways that you've been doing before. And definitely make sure that you have a practice that helps you regulate on a day-to-day basis, not just who you are. What did I just say? Hold on. I got distracted by that guy. Anyways. Definitely make sure that you're practicing all the skills necessary so that they're not burning you out, but that they're building you up. So that they're not canceling each other out, but that they're working in tandem together to get you to another level. Definitely make sure that you're doing something for the exact field you're in. You don't want to be working on basketball skills when you're trying to be a soccer player. It's not going to make sense. It's not coherent. It's not adding up in the same direction. You want to work on basketball skills for basketball and soccer skills for soccer, and they look differently. But you're going to have to be just as disciplined. You're going to be just as much effort, just as much focus, just as much consistency, just as much energy. You get what I'm saying? You have to do this. No one's going to do it for you. So, what stats do you max out? Those are the general ones. But with the specific ones, that's up to you. And you got to ask yourself, what specific skills do I need to max out in this field, in this arena? So if you're coaching, if you're teaching, if you're helping, right, serving, it looks a little bit different. Teaching for me was about inspiring education because I'm a coach. I'm not a teacher. So when I was teaching students, I was like, damn, these kids don't want to learn. They don't give a damn about this education. So what did I do? Did I teach them the information? No. I coached them. I inspired them to want to learn. I engaged them into the participation of class. I gave quotes. I made them think differently before we even engaged in academics, anything that had to do with learning for that day. I got to know about them on a personal level. Make sure that they understand that there's a relationship here. Make sure it's professional, nothing crazy. We're not out here doing no crazy shit, right? And you got to make sure that they understand that education is not just for school. That was for me. Now, some other people, they're so great at teaching, they don't have to do all that. I had to inspire them to want to learn so that teaching for me to them became easier. That was my skills I had to work on. But for my friend who's a teacher, that might be completely different. That might be completely different. I don't think it is, but it might be, right? A scientist needs completely different skills than an artist. But they're going to have to be just as disciplined, just as consistent, just as focused, just as much effort being put in to succeed in whatever that realm looks like for them. What area in life do you want to succeed or go all in? How do you go about it? What skills are required? Who do you have to be in order to have these results? Right? You want a dream life? Who do you have to become in order for that to be real? The version of you that's required to achieve the objective you have in your mind may not be the version that you are today. And you have to learn who they are and what they're being, what they think, what they feel, and what they do on a day-to-day basis, what they would do right here, right now, if they were you. And then do it as they would. What stats do they have? Are they a great salesperson? Are they a great communicator? Are they a great storyteller? Are they a great listener? Are they a great participator? Are they a great support system? Are they a great inspirer? What skills do they have? What skills do they need? What skills are they being? Who are they being? What are they doing? What do they have? If you want to have what they have, you got to be what they are and do what they do. That's why they say success leaves clues, and you should follow somebody who's already successful in the area you want to be in. If you follow somebody that's successful in the area that you want to be in, great. Now you have a shortcut. But you don't need to meet somebody in life to do this. You can imagine the version of yourself that's already being there, that's already doing this, that's already having this, and then work backwards and build it from there. So when you ask yourself, what stats do you need to have? Ask yourself, what's the version of me that's already having it, being and doing? And then go be and do that. As always, I'm Mitch, your life coach. Stay blessed and stay beautiful. Peace and love.